I've talked a lot of shit about other people's desk setups.
I'm not gonna talk about my cable man.
Holy shit! No, I still do. And at the time in which I did it, my desk setup definitely wasn't where it should have been to be talking that much shit. It's crazy. Anyway, I've been getting a lot of love for my setup, and even more than that, I've been getting a lot of questions. Questions about how I put it together, what tech do I use, how much it costs, all of which I'll try my very best to answer in this video, so buckle up. It's gonna be a lot. I want to start off with showing y'all my desk. I feel like I've explained this part at least 3 times over the past year and a half, but I guess I'll just explain it one more time. So I bought this acacia butcher. I literally said all this so many times. I bought this acacia butcher block from Lowe's. It's about 6 feet, question mark. I can't remember. It's a decent size for an all-in-one streaming setup, and it's sitting on some Vivo legs that I found on Amazon. I'll try my best to have everything on screen, so if it's not in the description, I'll have it somewhere, like up here, I think. I have no idea. I want to say that's basically it for the desk itself. It's pretty straightforward, so on to the more exciting stuff. A lot of basic stuff here. So monitor, PCs. So a lot of what I use is based around streaming equipment, if you couldn't tell. So this section is for the friends who keep DMing me, asking me how you can get into streaming. What I use isn't in the least like the end all be all. It's just geared towards the content that I want to make and how I make it. So take all of this like a grain of salt. I'm entirely sure that's the best phrase to use right there, but you know what I mean. For starters, I have my PC. It's pre-built. Let's just get this out the way. Not everyone needs some fancy ass custom PC, okay? Especially if you don't know what you're doing. And I don't know what I'm doing. So I can build one, I just don't have the time. And in retrospect, I probably should have, because it would have saved me like a lot more money. It's a mental and emotional investment, so save yourself the headache and just, if you're not tech savvy, pre-built PCs are not that bad. All right, soapbox over. For my monitors, I have 2 LG 24-inch 75 hertz, one of which I have mounted vertically. It's not practical at all, but gives my desk a bit more space. Also, this is where the work in progress comes in, because they're a little outdated. I would prefer something around 144 hertz and a little wider, but my desk only has so much space and I can't. Speaking of mount and desk space, I have them sitting on some Huanao.
That's gotta be racist. There's no way.
I don't know how to pronounce that. Huanao dual monitor stands that I found on Amazon, which they're pretty inexpensive and I think they're always on sale. So if you're looking for a new monitor mount, I highly recommend these because they've been the best mounts I've used because of how quickly you can adjust your monitor orientation, your angle, and your height. So before, I used to have to unscrew my monitors every time I wanted to rotate my screen, and it's a pain in the ass. Let's just say that. But no longer. The only downside is the base is pretty big and you have a bunch of other mounts that can take up quite a bit of space under your desk and like on the back end of it. So be warned. Next, I'm gonna try to run through this part a bit quick because this is all personal preference. Depending on how much you're willing to spend and how much companies are willing to send you free shit. A lot of this setup is powered by Elgato. So if you're living under a rock and you don't know what Elgato is, let me explain. Elgato is like the world leader in audio visual technology for content creators on video sharing platforms. I totally didn't rip that directly from Google. But seriously, I am partnering with Elgato, and technically this isn't a sponsored video, but I highly recommend the products if you're considering streaming or content creation. Commercial over. Here we have the Stream Deck Mark II, the Stream Deck Plus with the XLR Dock attached, the Elgato Keylight Mark II, the Wave DX with Elgato's own XLR cable, the new Wave Arm Pro, which just came out, which there are different versions of them. There's the LP, and I think there's a high one and a low one. I can't remember. I know it's kind of a L for partner, but I can't remember exactly what it's called. Okay, give me a break. I have the prompter, which I'm using right now. I just made a video about that, so if you haven't, this isn't sponsored, okay? Anyway, the solid arm and the Camlink 4K. I think that's like 10 things. I used to have the HD 60S, but I think it broke on me. Honestly, I don't know. Next to the other peripherals, I have a 75% Keychron red switch keyboard, which if you don't know what switches are, I'm not gonna tell you.
So quit asking.
The keyboard did come with its own USB cable, but I prefer like coiled USB-C, and I bought this one from Amazon for a pretty decent price, so it gives that TikTok tech vibe. I really like it. Currently rocking a desk mat courtesy of Senpai Gaming. So shout out to Harris Heller and all the folks over at Senpai. I also have this desk riser that I got from my brother. I'm not the biggest fan of the design and the color, but he gave it to me for Christmas and it has a built-in wireless charger. So until I find one that I like, I'm pretty much stuck. So anyway, thanks Joe, I appreciate it. Finally, my camera, which is what gets the most attention on Twitch and everywhere. I use the Sony a7 III with a Canon mounted Sigma 24mm 1.4. It's quite a mouthful. Gotta use my film degree for something. Lastly, I think there is my chair. I have a Mimo Glad office chair that I ordered from Amazon. It's pretty comfy. I like it. It's a bit squeaky now. You can literally, I'm pretty sure you can hear it in the video. It tries to move so much. I didn't want to spend a ton on a seat. It's pretty good. It's been lasting. I think I had it for about a year now. My thick ass ain't broken just yet, so we're good. Finally, I think I'm gonna go over my cable management. Twitter kind of inflated my ego a bit, I'm not even gonna lie. My cable management is something I've been working on for a very long time, since I first got my desk. But in the beginning, I didn't want to invest in proper management. It takes a lot of time and exertion, and I just didn't have either for a very long time. I still don't. It's not perfect. It's gonna take a little bit of a mental investment, and I had to buy a few things just to make it work. So there's that. For me, that included the cable raceways, zip ties, cable ties, Velcro tape, wire sleeve, a whole new surge protector power strip. You mix that all together and you get some YouTube guides and some caffeine. You just have a beautifully cable managed desk. I'm proud of it. I mean, I'm not lying. Like, it's been a very long time coming. It's not perfect though. It really isn't. The more tech I get, the more cluttered it gets. It's really a never-ending process. Anyway, glad I finally got to show you guys my setup. It's gotten to a point where I'm actually okay with showing people my setup. Like I said, it's still a work in progress, and no shade, but at least it's not out here looking like Valkyrie. Anyway, kidding. I'm mostly kidding. If you got any questions on anything, please feel free to leave me a comment. Feel free to message me on Twitter. It's usually the best way to get a hold of me. Or catch me live on Twitch. We'll gladly answer any inquiries. So yeah.